Peekaboo. I see you. Chickens are such funny animals. Raising chickens is for the most part a very calm, peaceful existence. Usually, things are pretty quiet here on the farm, and not too much excitement happens. I like the quietness, and chickens are gentle birds. Once they've established their pecking order, and everyone learns where their place is in that hierarchy. The only time it really gets noisy is when we have more than one rooster. More than one rooster means lots of crowing, all day and night. I guess it's because of the competition. We have learned that having more than one rooster in a small flock is rough on the ladies.
So yeah, they have large area.
It's been fun watching them. It's not too much work, but it gets to be annoying when we have to get somebody to come tend the animals when we take a trip. And the two roosters, we got a couple of barebacks. They don't have hardly any feathers. He's like, she's mine. No, she's mine. And she comes running out that way. Poor girl. I feel sorry for her. The hens' backs sometimes become featherless from all the competition from the roosters. So we usually got rid of the extra roosters. They ended up in the freezer and became dinner for our table. Occasionally, we do get some predators who want to steal chickens. We did lose one hen to a hawk just once. And we had a period of time when something was getting into the coop at night and stealing the baby chicks, one at a time. But we never did figure out what sort of animal that was. Early one morning, we had a big, fat opossum get into the coop. The chickens made such a stink it woke my son up, so he grabbed a gun and shot the fat thief. That was the end of his thieving career. We used to let our flock wander about the yard freely until a couple of incidences happened. One of those was that my chickens ventured too far and were found in my neighbor's flower garden, which she was not too happy about. We've always had a pen for the birds, but we like letting them run about the yard freely when we're home or where we can keep an eye on them. I did learn that when they have long extended periods of freedom, they would venture out further and further away. We usually kept them penned in whenever we're not at home to keep an eye on them. Well, this one day, when they were out freely roaming to their heart's content, and I was not at home, my husband also decided to leave the house for something. He didn't think to lock up the flock before he left the house, so they were completely unsupervised. We live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of dogs that people just let them roam about freely. When I came home, my entire flock was dispersed, and we could not find but a few of them. A pack of 5 neighborhood dogs attacked my chickens, scared some of them off, and killed several. I think my husband came home before me, so that's how he knew it was dogs. And I think it was a neighbor of ours, said that there were 5 dogs. I saw one of my birds being eaten by a dog in my next door neighbor's yard. It's not their dog. He's from a different house, but he had my chicken in his mouth next door. We found only one chicken still in the coop and one hiding in the pine straw near the back of the house. Being a Rhode Island red, her color blended into the pine straw so much that we almost couldn't see her. She was laying low to the ground and did not move. My flock had a terrifying day. My favorite rooster had fled into the forest. We searched and searched until well after dark with flashlights, calling to them, trying to find more of our birds. Eventually, the rooster came out of his hiding place and returned to the coop. Neighbor dogs were just here and scared our outside cat up in the tree. Not only are dogs from the neighborhood a problem for my chickens, but they're also a problem to my cats. I did get a little tired of chicken poop in the driveway and on our ramp, into the house, and on my front porch. I got tired of the chickens coming up here and eating my plants and decorative grasses and pooping on my front porch. So we decided to fence in a large area behind the house so we didn't have to deal with tracking chicken poop into the house. Oh, there's a butterfly. Do you see the butterfly? I've been seeing lots of butterflies today. We built a large pen around our chicken coop. The front is wood and it's painted and it's cute, and we got some potted plants in front. But the back is just wire, and they have a very large area. It goes all the way down to there and then back across there, and then it goes back to the house. So they have a very large open area, so they're still free range. But you know what? They love the shade of being inside their pen, their smaller pen. I mean, they're free to come out, they're free to wander and sunbathe and whatnot. There's a few that are out. Mostly, this is their home and they're comfortable there and they like to stay there. Still had a lot of freedom and a large open space, more than what people usually give chickens. But they were confined to stay inside that area mainly for their own protection. I liked having a poop-free front yard. The fence kept the dogs away from the chickens, but they were still vulnerable to hawks from overhead. But since the area is mostly tree-covered, no hawks have penetrated this area. One problem with keeping chickens is that it draws rats and roaches. The rats try to steal the feed grain, and the roaches feast on chicken poop. Disgusting, I know. We grow some pretty big roaches around here. It's a vicious cycle. Sometimes critters chew a hole in the feed bag to get into the feed. Rats like to live under the coop and steal into the coop at night to feast themselves. It's a good idea to have outside cats to help control the rat population. Well, today we had a new visitor in the chicken coop, a big black snake. Having a snake around can be useful in controlling the rat population as well, but it becomes a problem when the snake starts stealing your breakfast. This was the first time we saw the snake, and we watched him slithering away with one egg that he was digesting.
He's a big one. There he goes.
He swallowed an egg.
Yes, he did. He swallowed an egg.
He stole an egg.
He's a thief.
going underneath. No. He's trying to fit underneath, but he can't fit through because the egg he swallowed. He's trying to go underneath the coop. He's made it. I'm out to survey how the chickens are doing. Wondering why they're all hanging out in the chicken coop. Oh, the snake. It's back. It's got himself quite a cozy little place in the chicken coop. Guess he's decided to move in because he finds good food here. Fresh eggs. But then he decided to make the coop his home. I wonder how many visits he's made here. By the looks of him, he looked like he had eaten at least 3 eggs. He was just very calmly sleeping. He wasn't disturbed at all by our presence or us talking. He wasn't afraid. It's like, oh, I've been here before. I've come here all the time. Well, I'm just going to chow down on 3 eggs and just curl up here in this little spot and digest them. And he seemed kind of sluggish, like maybe he was very busy digesting those eggs that he had in his gut. He's not dead. You're supposed to cut out the head off. You gotta cut the head off. We found him sleeping, feeling quite comfortable in his new home, but we could not continue to allow him to steal our breakfast. So my husband took action and introduced him to the shovel. My husband just happened to be burning yard waste that day, so he dropped the wounded snake into the hot fire to meet his demise. That's the end of his egg stealing.
3 feet long. I'm gonna take them back over there and finish them. I gotta make the phone call.
Right there, where he's digesting an egg, maybe 2 or 3 eggs. The next day, I saw that the chickens had pulled the snake out of the ash pile. Well, what was left of him. He looked a bit charred. And that is the end of the snake story. Thanks for watching. What's left of the snake? Chickens drug it out of the fire. This has been about the adventures you can have in raising chickens.